Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Carlene Tonight. We have with us in studio Jean Marie. Jean Marie is a friend of mine. I've known her for...
I believe that we met in 2013 or 14. 14.
Yeah. So it's like 6 years going on 7.
Yeah.
We're going to say the name of the company.
A long time.
Are we going to say the name that we of the company?
We'll just leave that out.
Okay. So this week we're going to focus on parents because I know a lot of parents are out there, especially now more than ever. Life has changed for everyone. And I was just going to ask you on your perspective, like just as a parent, you know, for those listening, why don't you tell us about your son?
So first of all, just to let you know, I am a single mother. Of a wonderful little boy named Kai. He is 2 years old. He'll be 3 in July. So time is flying so fast. I can't believe he's so big. He's a wonderful little boy. And he is honestly the joy of my life. He was not a plan for me because I, to be honest, I never had a desire to have children. But he definitely was and is a pleasant surprise. And he's changing my life in ways that are just so beautiful. Like he's such a wonderful child. And, you know, children as a whole will definitely change your perspective on life, especially if it wasn't a plan to have children. And to be a parent of somebody or to be a caregiver for somebody who totally relies on you, it definitely amps up your responsibility factor, if I could say it that way.
You mentioned like you're a single mom. And for those who are single parents, I do remember having another colleague on the show. And so I just wanted to say, what's the hardest part about living in a pandemic with a young child? I think we were just talking about how you said, you know, there's certain places you can't take him with you because he's such a bubbly child, you know?
Yeah, Kai is super, super social. He loves people. He loves to talk to people. He's very touchy-feely. And with everything happening on the side of being a protector of my son and also being mindful of others, it's not easy to, like, say, for instance, I was saying to Carlene earlier, a day like today when I have a whole bunch of errands to run, I have a day off of work. Kai is in daycare right now. Thankfully, I do have a day off during the week while he is in daycare. It gives me the opportunity to do a number of things in one day, which as a single person or maybe a person who has a little bit more support in terms of maybe having another parent at home to stay home with the children on any given day, I don't have that luxury most of the time. I do have help. I do have a community. However, a day like this is perfect opportunity for me to get a whole bunch of things done and know that, you know, it doesn't stifle my son because when he's out with me, if I had to bring him out with me on a day like this where I had multiple things to do, I would be like, no, Kai, don't touch this. No, Kai, don't touch that. Okay, Kai, back up. Don't be in the person's face so much. Like, you know what I mean? And he's 2. He doesn't really get it. And it's frustrating for him because he's just being who he is. And this pandemic has definitely, and I'm sure for all types of people, not just little children, but little children, I feel even more because there's a lot of things they don't understand, especially someone 2 years old, younger, maybe even a little bit older. It's difficult, especially as a social child, to always be confining them to doing certain things when they want to have the freedom to just be themselves. And it's very difficult now with everything that's happening because we're confined to either staying at home and only unless we have to go outside for essentials. And what I'm doing today is essential. And my son doesn't understand. He just wants to have fun, have a good time, say hi to everybody, meet new people. Like, he may not be saying that, but you see in his expression, that's what he's about. That's a part of his personality. So it's difficult, but thankfully, like I was saying to Carlene earlier, I can still allow him to be himself by, you know, going to different areas like daycare. I do have some support, different family members that he goes to and stays with that have children, family members and friends. Our small bubble that, you know, we know where we're going, what we're doing, and we're not really mingling too much on the outside world. So I still have the ability to protect him on a level and also allow him to be himself in those social settings.
Well, I think it's different, especially in the winter time, right? Because I don't know, winter time we stay in more a little bit, right? But do you take him out, to do outdoor activities now, or?
We have a park across the street from where we live. So we went out, I think one of the first heavy snowfalls that stayed. By the way, I live in Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta. I do not live in the GTA like Carlene anymore. I used to, but we recently moved. So one of the first snowfalls where the snow actually stayed on the ground, we were outside. He enjoyed himself playing. Like I said, he goes to daycare. The daycare has their own playground. And also I have friends and family members down here as well. I don't live in a house, but the one person that he stays with often, his Auntie D, they have a backyard. So he is able to go outside and actually play, not just go outside with mom to Walmart or something like that. So he does, and I have taken him out. So right now it's been hitting like minus 38, feeling like minus 44 out here. So it's a little bit difficult to go outside often over the last, I would say, week and a half. But aside from that, he does get to go outside. Maybe not as often as he would probably like, but he does get to go outside. I do make an effort to take him outside to play.
Yeah. I mean, you are like in Western Canada where the weather's a little more brisk. Someone was saying to me, I had someone on the show talking about being in Alberta and how it's dry cold as opposed to, was it moist? I think there's a temperature difference between Ontario and Alberta.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely a dry cold. And I mean, when it's cold here, it is cold. Colder than a polar bear's toenails, girl. Oh my God. But you know what? So far Alberta's pretty nice. I haven't gotten to see much of Edmonton and what it's about, due to the pandemic. However, I do look forward to getting to know this wonderful province and the wonderful city that I'm living in right now.
Yeah, so that's a transition in itself. Like you are, Jean and Marie and I have known each other for a few years, and like you've always lived in Brampton, and now you decided to move provinces for like just more opportunities for you and your son, right? So a whole new experience, right? It's like a new chapter in your life.
Yeah, well, I realized that led me to making the decision to move out here. One was the support factor. I do have support in Toronto, Brampton, the GTA. However, I felt like in terms of support and opportunity, this was a better place for me to be in. Again, I'm a single mother. And even from a financial standpoint, I am taking care of my son by myself. So I needed to make sure that I could attain financial stability, which I felt like, Ontario or the GTA in particular was so saturated. It was so difficult. I was looking for work for I don't know how long. And during that time, I was also doing a couple of side hustles that I had to kind of do at that point because my son, when he first started daycare, he was getting sick like every 2 weeks. So having to commit to a full-time job and then knowing that at the end of the day, my son does come first. So if he's not feeling well, I'm the one that has to go and pick him up and stay home with him and nurse him back to health and all that stuff. So it was hard to commit to a full-time job at first, but, as he got used to, his immune system got used to all the germs out there, I was able to, make time and make room and then also have, different, people there to help me out if I needed with Kai. At that time, while I was looking for work, it was just so difficult to find anything, not necessarily just to work, but within the time frame that I could work that was from a monetary perspective, a good, a good opportunity. Like there was just, oh man, so many obstacles in Ontario. So a friend of mine, she lives out here and she started talking to me. She was actually talking to me about moving to Alberta from before Kai was even conceived. And I was just like dead stamp no, because I love Toronto. I'm like, no, I'm not leaving Toronto. Toronto's my place. That's my city. I was born in Toronto, got to stay here. But when Kai came, it was a completely different experience with thinking about everything that comes with having to take care of not only myself now, but a little person that I want him to have the most opportunities that I can possibly give him and put him in the best position to succeed in his lifetime. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel like as of this moment, Toronto or Ontario was the best place for me to be. So I took a leap of faith and I moved out here, and it took a while for me to find a job, but I did find a nice position, nice money. I paid cheaper rent at this particular time. I don't plan to rent forever, but at this time, step by step, little by little, just kind of securing myself and making room for my son to have the best possible future that he can have.
Looks like it opened up a few doors, that's for sure. That's a big leap altogether. You know, I think the transition from being single to being a mom, I guess we could talk about that, you know, just being the transition from being single Jean Marie to being a mom. What was that like? What was like a big eye opener for you?
Okay, disclaimer. I love my son, Kai. He is the best thing that's ever happened to me, the best person that's ever come into my life. And I love him with all my heart, unconditionally. Saying that, I will also say, as a single person that, like I said, had no plans on having children, oh my goodness, I had plans on doing all sorts of things as a single person, and I hadn't yet to even begun doing all the things that I wanted. And I was living a single life. I was hustling. I wanted to travel. Of course, not of course, but I didn't necessarily have a plan to get married, but I definitely wanted a significant other that kind of had the same ambitions as me. Someone that didn't necessarily want to have children. If he had children, then that was okay. But someone didn't require me to have a child with him. That was one of the things that I definitely wanted for my life in a significant other, someone who wanted to travel. But at the same time, I didn't have solid plans, like solid even career plans for myself. I had a few like dreams and aspirations that honestly I lagged behind in even moving forward with, because I was just so into having fun in the moment. But now that I have Kai, it's completely different. Obviously, I still have dreams of traveling, but now my dreams include him, and it's beautiful when I see him in the dream. I also am taking steps towards some of the dreams that I have and seeing it as beneficial, because now it's not just me that's looking at me in the mirror. It's my son looking at me in my eyes and looking at me for inspiration and looking at me as his role model. So if I don't do what I say I'm supposed to, that I say I want to do, or if he knows and he sees me kind of like dilly-dallying and not really taking care of my business, what is that teaching him, even as a 2-year-old? There's so many things that has changed my perspective on getting things done, and not just looking at the fun side of life, but looking at the practical side of life. With my son, he's changed my outlook on that altogether. But as a single person, and even a single person in my 30s, where I would feel I should have been in a different place, I wasn't. And now in my 30s, in my late 30s, almost in my 40s, I have this 2-year-old, and he's definitely changed my perspective on my responsibility factor towards myself and towards him, towards my dreams, my goals, my ambitions, the practical side of life, the dreams that, you know, we have more than the capability to fulfill, I believe. And he needs to see me doing that. So in terms of being single and being a parent now, in terms of getting things done and getting things done that you dream to do and that you want to do and that you need to do, I definitely have more of a drive and ambition to get those things done than when I was single.
Well, I guess because you have someone that's like looking up to you, so it changes the whole thing, you know. I guess what they say, you know, becoming a parent changes who you are as a person, and like your whole mindset changes because it's not just you anymore. So how has your routine changed since you became a mom?
Well, Carlene, you know me, like I was a pick up and go type of girl. And right now, I mean, there's a couple of things holding me back. Just kidding. Well, Kai's not holding me back, but the pandemic has changed that. But before the pandemic, being a mom with a young baby definitely changed that. I can't just work all night long and then, sleep for a couple hours and, go to another job in the day. I used to be able to do that. I can't do that anymore. I used to like to sleep in sometimes, but I think I kind of started to grow out of that as I got older. But now my son is up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock every day, no matter what time he falls asleep at night. And so when he's up, I'm up. Breakfast has to be made. Can't just lay in bed on a Saturday. Like all those little luxuries for now are definitely not something I can afford to do.
Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Larger Than the Ribs by Altered by Mom.
Is it worse to be hurt in the heart or the brain?
Or the mind? I don't mind, but I'll sing just the same.
It's a pain in the head, in the ass, it'll pass.
Is it truth? Is it lies? Do we grow? Will we die?
Do we drown or get shot? Maybe choke on the smoke?
Maybe hang by our necks. What the heck? All the same.
Do we hug? Do we kiss? Do we even exist? Are you pissed? Are you mad? I can't tell what this is. 'Cause my heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. My heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. My heart is looking for a heart, looking for a heart that will take it. My heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. This is strong against weak, I can't speak, I was wrong.
Or not right, but so close. Has a cat and got your nose.
Got your tongue, we had fun, I can't sleep in the dark.
This is sharp, what a treat. If you are what you eat.
Then I'm lost in the fog, acting young, feeling old.
Are you cold? Was it real? Was it pain? Only trick?
If you give, I would take little space for mistakes. My missteps, I'm aware, but sometimes I can't. 'Cause my heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. My heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. My heart is looking for a heart, looking for a heart that will take it. My heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. Larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. My heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it. My heart is looking for a heart, looking for a heart that will take it. My heart is larger than the ribs, larger than the ribs that contain it.
Hi, I'm Carlene. I'm in studio with Jean Marie Nairn, and we are talking about being a single mom in Alberta. Out of all places, we're here in Ontario. Jean Marie's in Alberta, minus 38. And you were just talking about your routine and how you have a little alarm clock, and he's not going anywhere. He wakes up every day around.
Oh, no. He's up and he asks for what he wants and he expects to get it. You know, he's pretty much the boss right now. So yeah, my routine definitely like nothing like what it was when I was single. But even still, like on a brighter side, like waking up in the morning and having a routine that's just not kind of all over the place is okay. Like it's changed. Yeah, but I think it definitely took some adjusting to, especially when I first had him. My goodness, Kai was like a bit of a colicky baby. It took a while for me to recover. Like I was in a lot of pain after I had him. So my life, my body, my life, my mentality, everything, like, oh, there were so many things happening at once and so many changes that happened at once when I first had him. It was so overwhelming. And at the time, Kai's father and I were together and we were living together. But unfortunately, our relationship grew apart maybe 6 months after, you know, we had Kai. So we decided to separate and confided in a few of my close friends about, you know, making the decision to part ways with Kai's father. She had said to me, you know, it's not a bad thing that you're doing it if you know that the relationship is not in a good place right now, but just know that you're going to feel it when he's gone. Like even when you just need someone to grab a towel or, you know, make a bottle for Kai when he's crying and, you know, different little things like that. And I understood what she meant when I was in the actual position when I was like by myself, or no one was at the house with me at the time. So those little things, when you're in a relationship with, you know, the father of your child and it doesn't work out and, you know, you separate, you do still feel the separation on a level or when nobody's around.
Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Carlene Tonight. We have for you Altered by Mom, Break Your Heart.
I don't think we ever had a chance. You knew all my punchlines in advance. I know you had a mind to walk away, but never had the heart to really say, take
Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Carlene Tonight. We have with us in studio Jean Marie Nairn. And Jean Marie is a mom of a lovely boy named Kai. I love Kai. He's so energetic. I feel like he just brings joy to people's life, because if you're having like a down day, he'll just lift you up. So anyways, I have one more question for you. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Do you believe that to be true?
You know what? I do. I definitely do, because you have two hands, you have 2 feet, and even if you are a couple, like you have father, or if you're a single father, you have the mother, together, and you're co-parenting, or even if you're not together and you're co-parenting, you still need the village around you to help you raise your child. I mean, me, for instance, I'm a brand new mother. Like, I'm a mother, first-time mother. I've only been a mother for 2 years. And again, I had no plans on having children. So this wasn't something I've been preparing for. And I know people say, you can't really prepare 100%, for having your child. Like, there's going to be so many things that you don't know, and so many things that come up that you won't have the answers to. And that's kind of where your village comes in. And village meaning your mother, your father, your siblings, your cousins, your friends, teachers, caregivers, educators, a stranger sitting beside you on the plane when you're having a hard time. Like, we've heard different stories about that, getting your child to sleep or to calm down. And, your frustrations levels are high, and that stranger comes in, obviously not during a pandemic at this point, but that stranger comes in and just helps you calm your child down. Like, that's a part of your village. And to be quite honest, for the longest time, with a lot of things in my life, I've been such a lone ranger. And this is one area where I had to humble myself and understand that I have a village here to help me. And so many people so graciously have reached out. I mean, aside from my more immediate family, I mean, friends that are like family now, and people that just love Kai so much, like Carlene was saying, about how she feels about Kai. Like, I have all these people that just adore him and love him. And I'm blessed, but Kai is super blessed to have that village that we so earnestly need around us, because, like I said, I have 2 hands, 2 feet. I'm one person. And though I am maybe 80% of what he needs, the 20%, which is the village, they do things and add to Kai's life in such a great way that, I've had to learn to put my Lone Ranger, ways aside for the benefit of my son, because he does need that community as much as I need that community help with him. So if you don't have a village, my goodness, I definitely hope and pray that you accumulate that village that everybody needs. I feel everybody needs it, because motherhood or parenting in itself is not easy. It's rewarding, it's fulfilling, but it's not easy, especially if you're by yourself or being a Lone Ranger. So for those of you or those parents that don't have the support that maybe someone like myself has, even as a single mother, I don't know what anyone believes, I definitely pray for those people that do need it, because it's necessary. A village is absolutely necessary for yourself and for your child or your children.
Yeah, those are strong words for sure. I think you need a village during this pandemic. I mean, it's definitely changed a lot of who we are as people. And, like you said, the Lone Ranger, I think a lot of us feel like more so now than ever, we're not really visiting friends and family like how we used to. So we're spending a lot of time alone and a lot of time reflecting, right? So I'm pretty sure for you, you've had a lot of time to think about like what your plans are for future Kai, future Jean Marie and all to come.
For sure. Yeah. I'm thinking about a lot, believe me. I realize even if you're single, having one stream of income is just not enough. Like there has to be multiple ways that you have income coming in, because this pandemic has shown us like what could happen, you know what I mean? And financially and economically in the world and in our personal worlds, it can be turned upside down. So in the midst of staying in your homes, if you have the ability to sit down and think, and you have talents that you can utilize to give yourself an extra, stream of income, definitely make some plans to get that executed so that you can have that extra money of your own, and you're not necessarily relying on, if you don't have your own business, or even if you do have your own business, that there's an extra stream of income coming in, whether it's in, if you can investing, learn about investments. This is an opportune time to do a lot of learning and investing in ourselves, with or without money, but even with education on how to generate multiple streams of income. So with a child, yes, I just mean in general though. I think everybody kind of needs to be in that mindset right now, because
if anything,
it's hard out here in these.
Yeah, it is very hard. I think what we need to understand is like having a plan B and a plan C, because I mean, it's turned the whole world upside down, right? So, and they always say you have to plan for the worst, but I don't think we anticipated the worst just yet. And they said 2021. I think a lot of people were hopeful, but I still think that it's going to take us a little while to get out of this, Yeah,
it's going to take a little bit of recovery, but, I think that with everybody here, and I can't speak for everybody's situation, but I can definitely say I have taken the opportunity to come up with different ways aside from just getting another job to generate, more streams of income, as opposed to just relying on one, because when that one falters or that one doesn't work out, at least you have more coming in somewhere else, because you always have to take care of yourself. And, yes, the government of Canada is helping us right now, those of us that need the help, but how long will that last? And what are the repercussions of all of that? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that we have to think about. But when you have children, it's even harder to think, man, where is my next dollar coming from? Like, I think that we just need to, like you said, Carlene, have a plan B, C, D at this point, A, B, C, D, at this point, if we can. Mm-hmm. And I know not everybody's in a position to do a lot of things that I'm saying, but those of us that are, we definitely need to take the opportunity. Even when the pandemic first started, I know there's a lot of people that have taken time to sit home and just, even down to just getting healthy. You know what I mean? Losing weight, getting healthy, starting a business venture that they've been kind of putting off because they didn't have the time, because their full-time job is taking up so much time. And now they're home or working from home or not working at all. You know what I mean? Like, the time is our opportunity right now. So the time that we have, if we can spend some of that time planning, using our skills, using our talents to generate multiple or an extra stream of income, I mean, I don't think we're doing ourselves any harm by doing that. That's a wonderful thing. And I know tons of people have been doing it. So this is an opportunity in the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of this chaotic time in the world. There is some glimmer of hope in the time that we do have at home. I know I'm not talking about my son right now, but I'm thinking about that for myself, just because I have me and my son to think about. But even if you don't have children, I think that it's super important to, if you have something, and I think everybody has something. I think now in the busyness of the world that has now stopped, kind of been in a halt, this is the perfect time for us to quiet ourselves along with the world as it is now, and open up our minds to the possibilities of other things that will help us in this time.
Yeah. Glimmer of hope, like you said. So I'm Carlene, and this is Carlene Tonight. Thank you, Jean, for sharing your thoughts. Hopefully we'll have you back on the show to talk more about being a single mom.
Yes, and thank you for having me, Carlene. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, of course. It's always great to connect with you. I'm Carlene, and this is Carlene Tonight.